let's get started. Welcome to this study on IRON CONDOR max loss. IRON CONDOR is basically a very popular option trading strategy. 怎么讲呢？这个IRON CONDOR 呢是一个很常见的，很多人用的那个期权的 strategy. And but most people don't fully understand the parameters. We always think about your winners, but never really do much thought about losing. Now, IRON CONDOR itself is a really good strategy because you have defined loss. I mean, as a maximum loss amount on each of this trade. Some of the option strategies actually undefined loss. I mean, and go on forever. Let's say you sell a call. 有一些期权的方法，就是有一些是有限的赚钱，有限的输钱，但是有一些期权的玩法，这是有限的赚，这无限的输。譬如说你卖一个 call， 你 sell call is actually unlimited loss， 无限的输钱可以。And limited gain 有限的赚，但是当然了，这样的玩法，你的赢方里面，有 probability of win is much higher， 所以你就会卖那个期权。但是当你输钱的时候，你会输很多，那风险跟回报是 proportional 是正比的 ，there's no free lunch. So IRON CONDOR, as we can see right now, 就是。So you will have defined loss and defined gain. Right? This portion, the green portion, right, is where your maximum gain, given the price of the stock. And if it go outside, right, go higher than that or lower than that, this is where you start having losses. Right? Your losing point is not right here when it's hit this price. Actually, this. And then start losing your premium that they pay you. Remember, when you sell options, they pay you for it, right? So when it go over the money you collect for selling this option, then you start making losses in actuality. Right? So that's a break-even point, and then there's a maximum loss point. At this point, beyond this point, this is how much you will lose the most. Right? So it's a very popular strategy because you know how much you can gain, how much you can lose, unlike even straight out buying or selling stock. But, however, what is your probability of reaching these areas? Right? What are your chances? And then when you reach over this area, your option still have time in it, they haven't expired yet, then what is your chance of making the money back before expiration day on the trade? So this is a very important study in actuality to help you fully understand where you position yourself. Where should you sell these put and call options to maximize your probability, not only your probability of win, to understand that once you go through certain price, what's your chances of loss, the whole thing, and what you can do. And that's the beauty of option is that there's different dimensions. There's the strike price, the volatility aspect, and the time premium. There's always 3 dimensions in options. It's 3 ways you can play, and which make it very different from already just buying and selling stock. You either go up or down, or sideways you don't make any money, right? In options, very different. So this is a study of 16 years of actual trading data. And they look into how likely an IRON CONDOR will reach maximum loss, right? And what are the ways you can mitigate the probability of that? So they look into a very popular instrument, SPDR, which is the underlying trade fund ETF, right? Electronic trading fund for S&P 500. So let's go to the next slide. Right? The study span the data collected, right, is the actual trading data from 2005 to 2021. And historically, this allows option trading study. I already pointed out that when you sell an option, you want at least more than 45 days till expiration. 45 days DTE, date till expiration, is the sweet spot. And so most of the study will be bracket around this time premium. That's 45 days left before the option expires. On top of that is there is the other aspect of delta. Delta, in a very layman terms, is that there's probability of the underlying instrument, which is the stock, right, at the day of expiration. What is the probability of that? Right? Because remember, if we go through that strike price, then the options get exercised. All right. If you sell the option, you could obligate to go through with the contract. All right. That's why people pay you for it. All right. Is that probability wise? So 16 delta means it's only have a 16% of it. Right? Going through that option strike price on date of expiration. That means you have 84% of winning. Right? So they will look in 16 delta, 13 delta, 10 delta, 5 deltas, wings. I will talk about separate how to construct an IRON condor, what it entails. This is some of the basic IRON condor trading knowledge, but not on this slide because there's a lot of material to cover. So they're going to see if you hold the duration of the contract until the day of expiration, how likely are you going to lose the whole thing, the maximum losses, right? And then if you reach maximum losses before the day of expiration, could be any time, like 2 weeks, 1 week, sorry, 3 weeks left, right, or 1 hour left. What is the probability of it actually come back? I mean, the instrument will bounce back, and you can recover your losses. So that's two parts. How often that you will reach max loss selling options with these parameters, and what are the probability that it actually come back before your option expire, before the option get exercised. Right? And then the other study will look at what if we manage the position, maybe we close out, we roll, we do something about the position, right? 21 days before expiration, 21 days till expiration. So that is a big part of a lot of option study too, because study has indicated that this is a sweet spot actually to close out your option trade, giving these parameters, of course. Yeah, this is where you will make the most money. This is where you actually not only make the most money, but often you win much higher probability of winning, right? Instead of holding it till expiration. Okay? Now let's move on. Right? So let's say you have a 13 delta IRON condor, right? And it's only $5 wide. Okay? Now, what does it mean by $5 wide? You ask me. Okay, I'll show you visually. The width of this, the green area, from this to this is your width. This is how wide you are. So if the stock closes anywhere between these price and the day of expiration of your options, you make money. So this is the width, green area. Okay, and these are called the wings. When it goes outside your width, those are the wings. So let's go back. All right. So now you can see very clearly. Right. You have a 13 delta, you have 10 delta, and 5 delta. On 13 delta, right? 13 delta, that means what? 13% of probability this option will be exercised. That means you will lose max loss, you will lose money. Okay. For the duration of study, 2005 to 2021, it's a 6%. That means 93% of the time you win, you make money. 6% of the time you lose money. But remember, when you lose money, this is max loss. Okay? When you sell options, your losses, the number, the actual monetary value of losses is always bigger than the money you will make. Right? There's no free trade, risk and reward again. It's okay. And then the probability of coming back actually is also 60%. So this is very interesting, right? Okay, so you have 93.6%, 93% of losing the whole trade. And then your chance of coming back is actually very little. You think about that. Only 6% of coming back. Once you reach max loss, it's pretty much over. Right? Now, on a 10 delta, that means 90% of winning, 10% of losing. Okay, the probability of reaching max loss. Now, this is reaching max loss. That means sometime, right, if the price close in between, right, this area, right, if it close right here, then that's not max loss. That means beyond, right, this, right, that you have to take the whole thing losses. Right? Over here, it's partial loss. Anything in the slope area, in the red slope area, this is partial loss. Right? We're talking about max loss. Right? Max loss on 10 delta is actually much smaller. Makes sense. This is further away, your higher probability, right? And further you get, the max loss becomes smaller, probability of reaching that max loss. But at 5 delta, you will never come back. It's done. It's done. Now, there's a very famous hedge fund manager called Victor Dinnerhofer. Right? He was like God, but that's all he does is selling these small, tiny delta options. And he's been making money. He will make money for years and years. And then one big market move, big market collapse, guess what? He can never come back, and it blow up. During the lifetime of his hedge fund, he blew up three times, but eventually he come back and recover. The question is, can you recover over the time? It takes time to recover, right? 1 month you lose everything, all your account is wiped, and then you gotta start all over again. It would take years to come back again, and he did that 3 times in his duration of his fund. But he's very famous for that. Yeah, selling these super low delta, high probability trade until one huge market event hit, like what, internet bubble, right? Or the subprime market blowout, or the pandemic, and you're gonna have you have no chance of coming back on that. Right? So yes, you're saying the other side is because these small delta, you pick up very little money, you make very little money. When you blow out, you lose a lot of money. And he's not selling IRON CONDOR, he's selling straggle. That means he's unlimited loss. It will go to zero. If it goes to zero, then it goes to zero. Right? But a brokerage firm will not let you go to zero. They will close out, sell all your position in your account because they're not going to take the loss for you. Okay? All right? They will close out all your position, and that's it. It's game over. All right? So the next slide is going through, 10 delta, and it's 3 times less likely to reach max loss and twice as likely to recover. Interesting. Right, and then the next slide will be the 5 delta, which is like you will never come back. All right. But it is very highly unlikely low. It's only 1.2%. Right. So you gotta ask yourself when you trade options, where do you want to be? Just on this max loss study, but there's a lot of way to mitigate this. Right. This is where it's important to understand, research actual trading data. And these guys actually scrub the data, clean the data really well to present this to us, nationality, and then we can use it for actually investing in trade in that sense. Right. So I'm very thankful for them. So let's say the other aspect is let's manage the position in 21 days. That means you still have 21 days left before the option expires. And you can see the picture changed completely. I mean, look, 13 delta, 10 delta, 5 delta. Okay, 0%, that means they're rounding it off. 0.001, something like that, right? So this is Victor Dinnerhofer. You never want to be there. I don't do this. Right? But I would use the hedge on 5 delta. Right? No matter how unlikely it could happen in the market, right? It still can happen. It's called black swan event. Right? That's what we call black swan event. And black swan hitting off, right? It can happen. And that's where hedge fund get blown up. Right? So if you compare this, right, to that, that's even better than selling a 5 delta, have no chance of coming back. When you sell a 13 delta, manage it, close out the position, or roll it, or take the losses in 21 days before expiration. Wow, Now all of a sudden, you don't have to. You skip all this. Okay, you skip all this probability, and you go into a very high chance of winning. Okay, at least not high chance, not just a very high chance. At least you won't go max loss. Very low chance of reaching max loss. Let me make the correction. Very low chance, less than 1% of reaching max loss. Yes, you might make a loss, but not maximum loss, not the whole thing. That's the high ability of the study. Right? So definitely, right, this is why 80% of options expire without being exercised. You can hear this a lot because people manage the position early. I will take my lose or take my winners much earlier. I don't have to ride till the end. Right? Options does not move in a linear direction. It's exponential. Towards the end, the last alpha option, the time premium drop off like a cliff. Last day drop off like a cliff. Meanwhile, the beginning of the options, the time premium, you gain a loss very slow. That will be a separate study we'll show you. But look at this. What does it tell you? Yes, I will definitely manage my trade early. I'll close on my trade early. I'll take my profit, take my losses around 21 days before expiration on my play. Yeah, I mean, sometimes a little more days, sometimes a little less, depends. That's where you use your experience, technical analysis, fundamental, whatever it is. But this is the math behind. This is a probability. This is what driven hedge funds houses is research heavy. Is we have empirical data to prove what we're doing. Okay, not like other stuff that I often see out there. And so this is a takeaway. Right? Okay, is that when you short 16 delta into the Y, right? Y into 10 dollar Y. Okay, you're actually less likely to reach max loss. The wider it is, of course, the wider it is, you give it more room to move, of course. Right? However, the more important is early management, 21 DTE, 21 days till expiration, before expiration, right? Okay, manage that. Okay, you went from this probability, okay, 13 delta 6.4, 10 delta 2.6, 5 delta 1.2 into a less than 1% of reaching max loss. That's powerful stuff. Right? This is why we trade small and we'll make consistent profit from doing this because we have study behind. We use actual trading data. Okay? We read these study and we think about it and how can we apply it. And there's so many of these study out there. Most people just don't want to spend time, or they just doesn't have a chance to come across them. Right? And these are stuff that we do at hedge fund houses. Back in my days in hedge fund houses, that's all we do: study and study and study. And then when we find something, we never share. We don't tell the world. Right? That's how we make money. I'm not going to teach you how to make money. I'm going to tell you how to make money. Right? Then otherwise, why are people who invest in my fund? Right? So I'm trying to help and level the playing field for everybody. He said, look, this is good stuff here. Right? This is how professional can make consistent return, consistent profit over time, right? This is what trader does. This is what investment houses. You make small return over time, right, to pay your overhead, pay your rent and so on. And then when the time is right, you see a huge trade, like this year, the AI trades, you go for it. You start switching into a different mode, and then you go for the bang for the buck, right? You cannot just go from day one to everything. In the meantime, I'm learning about the market. Right? I'm researching. I'm studying it. And the moments I go on, you want to make big bucks? Well, start with these stuff. Start to understand how it really works. Okay. That's how it really works. And it will take time. It take years, but it well worth it. Okay. You become your own boss. I always say, I open my own casino. Not only that, when I make a win and when my clients give me money, I can always, okay, give me the money. Go sell the trade, get out of my casino. Okay. Not only that, I run my own casino. On top, I can kick the patrons out after I take their money. That's the market. That's the hedge fund. Okay, that's what I am. And these are powerful stuff. And over time, make consistent small profit, and then when the big one come, like this year, the AI, Nvidia, these guys go all these big 7, right? Magnificent 7, do your trend following, okay? And this is where you can also make big bucks. I would do a whole separate sessions on how you can chase big money, how hedge fund chase big money. Okay? Before that, let's start with learning how to make little consistent profit first. If you can even do this, you will never make the big bucks. You can make the big bucks, and then one big trade, you will lose everything because you just fail to have the empirical data, the statistic, the math behind everything. Yeah, it is. The more you understand this stuff, the more you think about it, right, the better you'll become. That's how it is. Anyway, so this is a very important study, right? Is to tell you, hey, this is what you want instead of this. It's your choice, but I've been trading with this parameter for decades in actuality. I don't, and full study it proved what my experience tell me. Right? So it took me a decade to come here to get to this point, and one 20-minute session, you get to this point. Save you lots of time, save you a lot of pain, and make you a lot of money over time. Okay? Anyway, thank you for watching. I see you next time.